And welcome back for more Duelyst. This will be the last of the quarterfinal matches we're casting. And
Yep.
joined again by F8.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well today.
Yeah, and we've got ImprobableBlob versus Kallel. Let's
hmm
take a look at Blob's decks first.
Oh, yes. The Magmar fractal combo. I loved watching this played. This is like the OG to me. This was my introduction when I first played Duelist, like before even the original release. This was the first deck that introduced me into the game. This was the thing that I lost to. Was like this. I was like, "Oh, okay. So this game has a lot of intricate combos." But I love this deck. Just based off of like the combo, and also I do like the splash of the Primordial Gazer. I think that with Vindicator is actually really solid.
Yeah, I don't in general like Primordial Gazer, but it's really, really good when you combine it with Vindicator.
Yeah. Uh, Blob's other deck is Vitruvian. I know Blob is a huge fan of playing Vitruvian, so they brought this. Just, I think primarily their ladder deck too.
Hmm.
Just Obelisk. The only thing that seems out there for me is the Bone Swarms at 3 and the Orb Weavers at 3 as well. The Orb Weavers kind of a interesting pick.
I think Orb Weaver is pretty reasonable. It used to be really terrible. It was like a 3 mana 2/2, but a 2 mana actually, I think it's alright.
Yeah, it's good for extending plays, and this being Dervish, I think it's okay, but I like to see Orb Weaver in maybe like just a pure Zoo deck
Mm,
with Merc Blood and Lady Lock. So seeing it in just like a Dervish list, the only thing that I see is it just enables Portal Guardian. It's a 2 mana to
yeah.
give Portal Guardian 2 attacks, so it's not bad, but not the best of things. Vet doesn't really have many options, so it just tries its best with what it's got.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if Bolob's been playing and having success with this list, but I haven't really seen Vitruvian shine. Maybe it's just bringing it because, she's a diehard Vitruvian player, so.
Yeah, yeah. I think on ladder vet does okay. It's just in a tournament scenario, I just I don't know. The deck has way too many weaknesses, and and especially with the clash events, people can see your lists.
Mm,
Uh, I mean, your opponent can just bring a deck that just beats it. Like they're like, okay, you're playing Obelisk. Okay, I have plasmas. I'm playing Magmar. I can deal with that,
yeah.
or dispels or decks with Zenrui. Actually, surprising. I haven't seen any sabotage vet or Zenrui actually really played much, and I know on the ladders it's very common, but in tournaments, not so much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Sabotage Vet, maybe is an archetype that takes a little bit more thought to play correctly. So, we're still actually early on in the life cycle of this patch, I guess. So, there's still development to come, I think. But for now, we're probably just going to see this Magmar deck from Blob. Much more likely, it's a bit more robust. And even though it's got this combo, it's actually just fine to play a mid game and sort of win with board presence without necessarily requiring that combo.
Yep. Good Magmar minions, always good. But the benefit of having the combo is if you're against a stall deck or a deck that goes to fatigue, having the combo, I mean, just like it's great to have. That's the ultimate fatigue finisher. It's like, okay, well, we're playing this type of game. I'll just burst you for almost your entirety of the health. And I do want to state though that Blob's version of the deck runs only just three of the fortitudes rather than the amplification. And I have seen that some Magmar players either like that card kind of like swaps in this particular like variant of the deck. So
Yeah, the Greater Fortitude is just much more playable in non-combo situations. So
oh,
definitely.
definitely.
And against them, we've got Kallel.
hmm Kal-El with Magmar and Vanar. S- Talking a lot about the Magmar lists, but let's go into the Vanar real quick. For Kal-El. This particular list.
So the things that stand out to me a little bit are the tiger, which sort of shows it's going to be a little bit more aggressive. And so whenever I look at Vanna, I always make sure to like check which removal options they ran, because there's a few choices. Like if you ran Cryo and some Vespers, perhaps you ran the Glacial Elemental. If you ran Aspect the Fox for like a hard removal, um, with that transform, you know, you can deal with a big minion permanently.
Mhm.
Hailstone often can be like just as good or better with tempo, but sometimes, you know, if the game goes long, they just keep replaying it. And Aspect of the Mountain's a pretty fun card, especially when they don't expect it. It's you know, great AoE, and when you're playing like this kind of deck where you've got a lot of small minions, you know, you're pretty likely to have a target to buff up with that.
Yeah, usually you see players that like to play with Mountain, they like to play Snow Chaser, but then if you like to play Snow Chaser, then you want to play Cryo. Then if you want to play Cryo, then you're going to play Elemental, then you're going to play Bone Chill. So, like, when building Vanner, you're like, all right, no, no, this is where it stops. There's enough cards in the deck that I think are targets for Aspect. We don't see the other aspects within this deck list. We don't see a Fox. So we see as a removal, we just see Chrome Cold's Hailstone. Can technically say that the Tiger can also be removal since it has Rush,
Hmm.
and it's odd to see Vanar with some form of like burst out of hand. Usually they win with what's on the board. So just a Razorback with Tiger has a potential burst for this Vanar deck to say, surprise, here's a some damage that you weren't expecting or potentially lethal.
Yeah, usually when I play against Vanar decks, I get the feeling that you know they're really reliant on building a board, and if you can deal with the board, then they lose, and if you can't, then they win. But there's a pretty interesting thing, you know, bringing this tiger, bringing the aspect of the mountain, which, funnily enough, they both actually work quite well together. Um, but
Yes.
to give you a little bit more reach to end the game, it could be interesting actually.
Or even giving you a rushed 5/5, right?
Mm, yeah, exactly.
So Jack's True Sight has been seeing a lot more ladder play. I just think it's just a solid minion in Vanar. It's just a check against your opponent, especially when combined with Prophet of the White Palm.
Hmm.
Just be like, hey, do you have this removal or not? GG. Magmar being the one of the few factions that can deal with that with Spirit Harvester, and we see that in Kal-El's Magmar deck, as well as just a bunch of like just good stuff. Uh, I think can we just call this good stuff Magmar? Because that's what this list looks like. It's just like good cards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very flexible. It's running like two Egg Morph, two Meta, and two Plasma, so that you know, you're capable of removing you know, whatever sort of threat your opponents bring. You've got Spirit Harvester. It's amazing card AoE. And then yeah, big top end. You could flash out, or even just eventually you know, get there by, you know, controlling the board with your Mercantos and all these removal spells I just mentioned,
Yeah,
and then, you know, Silthar out to win you the game.
yeah. So the Elder being on the top end is nice. So again, if the games go to fatigue or just kind of like a stalling match, Elder's like the best like just one minion to bring to it. Because it leaves an egg. Even if you kill it, it leaves killing the elder also leaves an egg. So like you have to deal with two eggs and a huge body. So it's just good top end. Uh, the dancing blades, like to use that with in conjunction with Vindicator, but it's just good to have the additional like monster damage removal as we're starting to see a little bit more profit of the white palm come into play into just in general it's just being used. It's a really good card. um yeah, so I think we're ready to go into these matches, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Looks like we're gonna have a magma mirror. Big green lizards hitting each other.
Yeah, so we didn't go over what they're going to play, but it was almost likely that Blob would never touch the Vitruvian deck, so that was given. But Kallel actually had option to choose either or, but probably were like, all right, if they're gonna go vet for whatever reason, the Magmar will be able to deal with it. So the big green dinosaur, we have Starhorn versus Vath. Uh,
Kallel's playing their
and
minions far away, and they actually had an opportunity to steal the Minotaur here, which would stop Blob doing a Flash Archon. Now, I'm not saying they should have done that play, but we are going to see a 7/7 really early on in the game.
Oh yes, do the flash. Do it. Even
Oh,
though the harvester's telling you value, just bring the Archon.
yep. Bring the thunder.
Nothing like a 7/7 on 4 mana. Just like, oh, I gotta deal with that. No Egg for Kallel. Can't even use Egg even if they had the opportunity to do so, because it's still just 4 mana.
Yeah.
Sweating. Oh.
They can't play anything. They...
Blob laughing too. That's great. Yeah, the turn of nothing is never a good feeling. Oh my. That is one of my most enjoyable things whenever I cast tournaments is that whenever I see players emote and stuff, it just brings a more wholesome like attitude to the match, and I enjoy seeing it. I'm sure Blob also enjoys seeing double young Silphar in Kal-El's face.
Yep, it's a pretty fine follow-up. They're not going to cast that Spirit Harvester. It would probably hurt them more than it hurts Kallel.
Yeah. Blob's hands bunch of spells and a harvester. So at least his War Beast can come out early. So even if the Archon is rough to deal with early game, the War Beast can come out. Maybe Archon can come out too. Like you can just slap the Archon and just be like, all right, Archon Wars. But nope. Hello, going for the clear.
Yeah, they'd both be fine choices. I guess maybe what they're thinking is they can
Oh,
set up a natural selection next turn, and this
oh,
Mercantor just did 9 damage, so
oh,
pretty...
this is so rough. Oh,
Yeah, the
no,
Spirit House is
this is
super
so
good.
rough. Yeah, I'd be sweating too, Kyle. Like stepping in front of the face in front of an Archon, just getting slapped the first 7 and then a Harvester coming out. It's just rough.
So I suppose they have to Metamorphosis here. Like, you could natural selection, but
Archon needs to be dealt with. Where's the Dancing Blades? That's what it needed. Dancing Blades would have been nice. But Archon dealt with
yeah,
after
the
doing
problem
7
with
damage.
having dealt with the Archon is there's another one coming.
Hey! And that was the brother of the this particular Archon, so he's like, yo, sup? Let's get in there. So very fast match. Blob just throwing up all this giant minions in
Yeah.
Kallel's face. Kallel with no egg morph.
I
Where's the egg morph?
I thought they might flash out young Silthar as well for
Ooh,
tempo, but
double nat though.
yeah, that's good. The
Stability.
the problem they're gonna face is that Blob's almost at their combo.
Look at Blob's hand
Yep,
though.
that's 15 out of hand damage on 8 mana.
Oh man. Let's get in there. Blob waiting.
So Kallel's already dead. I think they just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Even if they heal up to 17, Fath can just hit for the extra 2. So they'd have to heal Mystic as well. So I guess they could live, but yeah, they need to position correctly.
No, they're going Harvester.
Yeah, you'd need some prescience here to sense the danger and completely turtle up. And even then, after that, how do you actually win the game? So
Spam a lot of healing and just pray. Back to 13. But Blob.
I mean, this game was this was over on turn 2 of the
Oh,
Flash Archon. Yeah, what can you do,
oh,
man?
oh man. What are you gonna do when it's 1, but no 3 of these elucidators in your face for 15? Yep. GG. Nice seeing the
Yeah,
combo.
happy to see the combo, but yeah, that was really
Oh
rough.
yeah, just skipping that turn.
I mean, yeah, as if Flash Archon wasn't enough, you're like counterplay as I pass the turn. Oh dear.
I do nothing. Well, hopefully Kallel will not have a repeat in the next match.